Good morning, Digit fam. Adam Dowd here to put some more tech goodness directly into your ear holes. I have to admit, today's Digit Daily newsletter is basically all about E3 and gaming, and it kind of feels like I'm reading a foreign language. But I made it through yesterday, so I'm reasonably confident I'll be okay today. It is June 11th, 2019, and this is your Digit Daily. First of all, Nintendo is planning a big announcement today at E3. You can tune into that on Nintendo's website at, an hour ago. Well, I guess that's not helpful then. Moving on. Ubisoft and Square Enix both had big announcements today, and we're going to start with Ubisoft because I didn't have to Google how to pronounce their name. Hey, it's my show. And if I'm being totally honest, I went back and Googled it anyway after I wrote that. So first up, we have Watch Dogs Legion, which is the third game in the series. It takes place in a future dystopian London, complete with a Jason Statham-sounding narrator. So the thing here is that it seems like you can recruit and play with just about any NPC character you recruit into your resistance movement. And I have to agree with the newsletter on this one. The trailer seems forced. Like, this is a really cool trailer. Trust me, it's cool. There's also a new story creator mode available for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which allows for branch storytelling, including multiple outcomes, which I guess is a thing. We've also got Gods and Monsters, which promises, quote, an epic journey through a fantastical world of Greek mythology. Looks a bit cartoony to me. Both of these games are coming in 2020, and I'm starting to see a theme here. Why does everything announced at E3 come out in 2020? They do know what year it is, right? So now we get to Square Enix and the Avengers, and in my world, this is a complete swing and miss. Now, stay with me here, because I know what you're going to say, but the characters look and sound completely off from the movies, and look, I get it. There are multiple problems with my argument. First, there's no way these actors were going to voice their own game characters. Way too expensive. Plus, guess what, Adam, you moron? The characters in the movies don't look like the characters from the comics. Those are both solid and sound arguments, but the movies are arguably the only reason why Avengers are a thing right now outside of gaming and comics, so departing from that seems risky. Anyway, good times. We've also got a look at the Final Fantasy VII Remake with some gameplay and storylines, and I'm sorry, but I just think the physics behind that gigantic sword, I don't think they check out. There's no way he runs around with that thing on his back and is able to draw it with any amount of speed. I think we've been had, and of course, that game is coming in 2020. Also coming from Square Enix is a remaster of Final Fantasy VIII and Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, and seriously, they're remastering games now? Are people buying remastered games? Is this a thing? As the newsletter says, quote, why make something new when you can sell a barely altered version of something old, eh? And I can't say I disagree. Like yesterday, there's a ton more coming out of Ubisoft, Square Enix, and E3 in general. So go to Digit.com, subscribe while you're there, and check out the latest newsletter to get all the details. But in the meantime, it's time for the Roundup! New renders of the Google Pixel 4 have come out, and they look a lot like the new renders of the iPhone that have also come out. I mean, it really looks like they just made them black and photoshopped a G on them. Granted, these come from OnLeaks, who has been accurate in the past, but it's anybody's guess. It bears repeating. Renders are just rumors plus AutoCAD. Moving on. Do you like free stuff? Well, Android Authority lays out a few different ways to score free apps from the Google Play Store. Appropriately, there are free apps that you could download to help you get free apps, plus subreddits and websites that track these kinds of things. Free is always nice, but personally, if an app is truly useful to me, I generally don't mind paying for it. But if you don't mind putting forth a little extra effort, or patience, or both, this might be your Yahtzee. Facial recognition is now at airports, and if you're thinking, that's no big deal, I already use Face Lock for my iPhone, well, this is a little different. In this case, the government is building up a huge database of faces to use for whatever it wants. Now again, I'm not a privacy nut, but the thing about governments gathering this kind of data is governments change. They change a lot, and they change every 4 or 8 years. At least here in America they do. So what might be a benign database today could be fairly nefarious tomorrow. It's not exactly 1984 yet, but it should be enough to give you pause. Oh, and by the way, the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agency confirmed a data breach in which passport and license plate photos were stolen. So yeah, peachy. Amazon has deployed about 200,000 warehouse robots to help out humans that work there, but insists humans will always be necessary. Sure, some humans, but probably less humans, right? I mean, let's not sugarcoat this. I'm all for automation and robots performing menial tasks, but let's not pretend that there isn't a direct correlation between one warehouse bot and 10 less Tonys that need to go home because their kid came home sick from school. Huawei wanted to come forward and assure the people of the world that it's okay, everyone. It's okay. Facebook still works on its phones. Well, that's a relief. Apparently, Huawei support has gotten more than a few requests, making sure that Facebook will continue to be available on Huawei phones in light of the recent ban. And believe me, it's not lost on me that people are worried that the shadiest social media company will still run on one of the shadiest phone manufacturers' products. I guess that's just where we are as a people. And finally, this is certainly interesting news. Steven Spielberg is developing a new horror series that people will only be able to watch when it's dark out. It plans to launch on the new streaming service Quibi, which we reported on in the newsletter yesterday, but didn't make the cut in the podcast. And now I kind of wish it did. So let's rewind a little bit. It is June 10th, 2019. Nope, that was too far. Quibi is a new streaming service brought to you by none other than Meg Whitman of HP fame. This streaming service brings short 10-minute videos in the series of episodes that combine to a larger video. It's sort of like a Netflix, but entirely dedicated to webisodes of a TV series. But it's all original. It's an interesting take, but I just can't see it justifying the $7.99 price tag it's asking for with ads. So now that we've got that out of the way, and here we are back at today. So, now that we know what Quibi is, let's talk about Steve. Mr. Spielberg wants to develop a horror series that you can only watch at night, so Quibi's engineers plan to use the smartphone's internal clock to determine when it's nighttime, and only then make the content available. In the morning, the series disappears and comes back the following evening. And really, the only reason I went through all the effort to rewind back to yesterday and add on to that roundup is because this is a really neat concept. Videos are a form of art, and giving artists another dimension to how their art is portrayed is really cool when you stop and think about it. This is a way that a smart device can very subtly enhance your life, even if it does just pertain to content consumption for now. And I'm excited to be a part of it. So that is going to do it for today's Digit Daily. If you'd like to learn more about any of these stories, check out the links in the show notes and subscribe to our daily newsletter on Digit.com. And if you like what you heard, subscribe, leave a review, and don't forget to tell your friends about DigitDailyPod.com. Once again, I'm Adam Dowd, Dead Technology on Twitter, and we'll talk again tomorrow.